EZDoodles is an artist and YouTuber who's gained popularity recently from running several animated Nuzlockes. I joined her Discord server because she runs occasional Pokemon Showdown tournaments that I've greatly enjoyed, and after spending a lot of time there, I eventually became a moderator. A few months ago, I was talking to some other members on her channel and we came up with a brilliant idea. See, while I love Nuzlockes, I despise grinding. If you've seen my previous Nuzlocke video, you'll know that I only grind on wild Pokemon as a matter of last resort. However, if your goal is to complete a Nuzlocke, there really is no reason not to grind. Hardcore rules are supposed to create artificial limits on grinding to keep the challenge alive, but as cool as the word hardcore sounds, I don't think they're very effective rules if your goal is to create a challenge while reducing grinding. Let me explain. The hardcore rule set creates a level cap for your Pokemon so they don't exceed the gym leader's ace. In theory, this makes the game harder, because you can't have overleveled Pokemon. In practice, this doesn't make the game harder, but instead makes the game longer, because the optimal strategy is now to grind every Pokemon in your team to the level cap before initiating a fight. This, in turn, encourages strategies like hacking and infinite rare candies, because the extra difficulty here is clearly artificial. But then, this adjustment overcorrects the Nuzlocke back into easy mode, because unless you're playing a stupidly hard ROM hack like Emerald Kaizo, a full team of Pokemon at the level cap is going to absolutely crush the next gym leader. For this reason, I've never actually played with the level cap rule, but instead restricted the amount that I can grind on wild Pokemon while playing my Nuzlockes. However, this method has its problems too. Pokemon games with massive level jumps and powerful bosses can often make this style of play extremely unforgiving. It also forces unwinnable situations where I must break the rule with extremely long grinding sessions when it becomes impossible to carry on without it, which I find boring. So, when we were talking about how to solve this problem, I came up with a magical, brilliant idea. One that would solve the problems I have with Nuzlocks once and for all. We would have a Nuzlocke race. The difficulty in this race won't be the rules, but instead will be the time. If you try and cut corners, you'll get a faster time, but if you cut too many corners and get unlucky, you could lose everything. We spent a long time coming up with the specific rules for this race, but here's an abridged version. First of all, we did allow healing items in Switch mode. Normally, I don't like playing with these, but for a race, it's okay if the rules are easier as long as they are consistent for everyone. Secondly, we did add in level caps. But wait, Red, didn't you just say that you didn't like level caps and never played with them? Well, sort of. Level caps make the game longer because they discourage running through everything with a single Pokemon. In a race, I think that's an interesting limitation. Our other rules here are standard, and if you want to see them, you can read a full list in the description. To measure who wins, we are using game time. If you ever wipe, you have the option of calling the run where you left off, continuing with Pokemon from your PC, or restarting and adding your wipe time to your new game time. With all of the preparations on the way, the race began on September 3rd. I want to begin this run with the classic tale you've probably heard of, the tortoise and the hare. As we all know, the story begins with a slow and steady tortoise challenging the speedy hare to a race. This hare, confident in his Pokemon knowledge, tries to cut corners and challenge Cynthia as fast as he can. With a dominating lead, the hare gets overconfident and runs into the Distortion world before Cyrus ambushes and murders him. The tortoise, meanwhile, slowly and steadily plods through the race, dodges the obstacles put in her way, and eventually becomes the league champion. The moral of the story is, slow and steady wins the race. With that in mind, I choose Turtwig as my starter, and decide to play this run similarly to how I'd play a normal Nuzlocke. My plan is to build up a small but diverse team that can handle any threats, while making sure I have something for each gym leader. I named my Turtwig Testudo as a reference to my alma mater. After adding Burb, the level 2 Starly, to my team, I'm ready to face my first real trainer battle. I defeat youngster Tristan and his level 5 Starly, but my Turtwig is down to 9 health and I don't have any healing items. As I run back to the Pokemon Center to heal, I encounter my worst nemesis, a level 4 Starly. Deciding I can't beat the Starly, I try to run twice, failing to get away. After 2 tackles, Testudo is down to 1 HP. Weighing my options, I realize I only have one choice. I sacrifice Burb, then use his death to flee to safety. Eventually, I manage to beat Rourke and stop for the day. Before I can continue, disaster strikes. My computer breaks, and I've completely lost the save file for this run. While most of my stuff is saved on an expansion drive, I can't recover the same file or the game footage for this run, so I'm given a clean slate and a chance to redeem Burb from his early, untimely death. So, I start the race again, choosing Testudo, then catching a level 4 Starly I named Try 2. I will not make the same mistakes again, I promise myself. Try 2 will be different than Try 1, and I am determined to raise it as a part of my team. And thus, from now on, I will kill every Starly that I ever come across. Will this help my time? No. But it helped me feel better, and that's what matters to this turtle. Instead, I focus on training Kit the Shinx, who gets into a battle with Last Shara's level 7 Shinx. The two rivals fight to the death, and, well, my Kit loses. You might think of this as a misplay, but I think of it as a testing ground. If Kit wasn't strong enough to survive here, she wasn't going to be strong enough to survive later in the game when I truly needed her. I often play riskily with Pokemon soon after I've caught them, to give them chances to prove themselves worthy of my team. Is this a smart strategy? Absolutely not. Is this immoral? Probably. But that's just the way my mind works for these challenges. Pokemon need to earn their spot in their team. Nobody gets a free pass. I eventually settle on my team and start raising 3 Pokemon. Testudo joins Friend the Voodoo, Rock the Geodude, and 3 sacrifices to take on the game. Most people are going Gyarados because, well, it's Gyarados, but I want to be different, so I'm not going to use my Magikarp. After setting up 4 Growths, Friend outspeeds and one-shots Roark's Cranidos, earning me my first gym badge. At 1 hour and 29 minutes, my Roark split is solidly in the middle of the pack, not particularly fast or slow. This is okay though, I got through Roark with a solid team, which means I'll have plenty of opportunities to regain time later. Unfortunately, not everyone was so lucky.
Hey everyone, I'm EZDoodles, and let's take a look at what's happening in my run. Red Wings is the mod for the EZDoodles Discord server that was helping to run the race. The day we kicked off, we did a call where participants could all start at the same time and give live updates to their run. Of the dozen or so participants, I was the only one who picked Piplup as a starter. I was looking towards the future to when Piplup would be an Empoleon and have that coveted Steel typing. But what I didn't know was that of the dozen participants, I would also be the one who got critical hit headbutt against Roark, which killed my Piplup. So much for that plan. This was one of the most unlucky Nuzlockes I have ever experienced, and that crit was just the beginning. If you want to check it out, I'm EZDoodles on YouTube, and the video will also be highlighted in the description.
Back to my run, Commander Mars is the next major threat. For her, I used Geodude, setting up one Swiss Defense Curl, then taking out her Zubat and 2 Rock Throws. I heal off the first Toxic with a Pecha Berry, then she misses her second Toxic, so I head to Purloin with high health and +1 defense. By using lots of potions, Geodude is easily able to take her out. The next gym leader is Gardenia, which Testudo is easily able to handle. By setting up with 6 curses and using a lot of potions, my turtle is easily able to take out her entire team. Commander Jupiter barely puts up more of a fight. Testudo takes out her Zubat with 2 bites, then Rock takes out her Skuntank with 2 magnitudes. After Gardenia, I have a time of 2 hours and 51 minutes and I'm solidly in 4th place in this race. Everything in this run goes super smoothly until Fantina, with one exception. Friend is refusing to be my friend. I gave her a Soothe-Bell as soon as I got it, had her in my party the entire time, and delayed her level up to the last possible second, but nothing works. She hates me, and by the time I've reached Fantina, she's still a Voodoo. At level 26. My plan for Fantina is simple. Lead Grottle, set up 6 curses against her Duskull, heal up against her Haunter, then one-shot her Mismagius with Bite. So, I do just that. I eventually KO the Duskull, and then she sends in Mismagius second. It was at this moment I knew I screwed up. I didn't realize gym leaders in this game could send out their ace second. I should have realized this, because Gardenia sent out Roserade second in this very playthrough, but I didn't notice. Mismagius was coming in on a burned, 45 HP Grottle with -6 speed. I test damage ranges by using Super Potion, and my worst fears come true. Shadow Ball is a ranged 2-shot, and will always do so if I'm burned. I need to switch out, but the rest of my team is not well equipped for her. After healing again to make sure her Future Sight doesn't kill my switch-in, I go to Bidoof. This level 3 mon is a sacrifice, but due to it being a normal type, it actually can switch in on Shadow Ball, buying me 1 extra precious turn. I sacrifice 3 Pokemon to heal up Testudo and cure my burn, but my entire setup is gone. Coming in again, Testudo tanks a Shadow Ball and hits back with a Bite, dealing half. Unfortunately, the Citrus Berry on Mismagius activates, stopping Bite from being a 2-shot. My special defense falls, so I need to sacrifice another Pokemon. Goodbye, friend. Honestly, you were never my friend either. Fully healed up, Grottle enters the fray once more. Shadow Ball deals just over half, and Mismagius is left with a sliver of HP. I debate sacrificing Rock, but decide it's not worth it. In retrospect, this was a bad decision. Rock probably could have survived a Shadow Ball from full, but Testudo couldn't. Shadow Ball was a ranged 2-shot, and this time it did. Mismagius kills Testudo with the next Shadow Ball, then finishes the fight with a Magical Leaf. I've wiped. According to the rules, I have a choice. I can elect to continue with Pokemon left over in my PC, or I can restart, adding my wipe time of 4:15 to my final time. While I think it might be faster to continue with my box, I decided it would be more fun to restart, so it's time to reevaluate everything. In my furious analysis of what went wrong, one thing makes itself very clear to me. I only had a cursory understanding of the tortoise and the hare. People only focus on the ending of the story, but any statistician will tell you that winning isn't everything. In this race of legend, the hare builds a sizable early lead on the tortoise, which everyone seems to ignore. The hare is the more talented racer by almost every statistical metric, and if they raced again, Vegas would favor the hare. The moral of the story isn't that slow and steady wins the race, it's that overconfidence is an insidious killer that can fell even the most talented individuals. I didn't need to go slow, but instead, I needed to go fast with a good plan. In my fury with myself, I make the decision to become the hare. I will put aside every distraction, every vendetta, every emotion I have, and declare my efforts towards one goal, beating Platinum as fast as I possibly can. I declare right then and there that I will take every risk, that I will not be afraid of critical hits, and that I will make any sacrifice to achieve my goal. I embrace the overwhelming madness and let it consume me whole. To remind myself of my new strategy, I named my Turtwig Hare, then set out on my journey with a 4-point plan. Point 1. Only train Turtwig. Point 2. Skip every non-mandatory trainer. Point 3. Play on set mode for the first half of the game. Point 4. Win. This nearly ends in disaster when I approach the first rival fight with a level 8 damaged Turtwig. I set up with Withdraw, while Barry's Starly lowers my attack stat. As I'm whittling away at the Starly, I realize I have a problem. I only have 10 PP of Tackle, and with my attack stat lowered, that's not enough to win the battle. So, I sacrifice the Shinx that I shamefully forgot to nickname, heal up Hare, and continue fighting. This time, I just used Tackle, taking out the Starly. My attack stat is once again crippled, so I need to switch out. I switch out to Bidoof, then switch back in, and hope I can win this fight. Chimchar sets up 2 Leers, which makes its Scratch deal a scary 11 damage. If it crits with Scratch, I lose. As I chip it down with Tackle, it uses Leer again. I go for the win, and Chimchar uses Leer a 4th time, allowing me to knock out the Fire Monkey. Without leveling up, every trainer is scary. After a few Leers, youngster Sebastian's Machop does 13 damage with a low kick, and would have KO'd with a crit. After this, I switch in Magikarp to reset my defense and heal. Shockingly, Magikarp survives 2 low kicks to let me heal up, and Hare wins the battle without any losses. Right after that, I get Rock Smash and I'm clicking A too fast. Before I realize what I've done, I've accidentally taught the move to Hare, and won't be able to forget it until Canalave City. I fight the gym trainers because they're easy sources of experience, learn Razor Leaf in place of Absorb, then go to fight Rourke. By setting up 2 withdraws on his first Pokemon, Gyarados doesn't deal much damage, and I easily get the first gym badge in a mere 47 minutes this time. Commander Mars is the next roadblock. I use 1 curse on her Zubat before taking it out, avoiding poison with the Pecha Berry I equipped before the fight. Then, I heal up on Fake Out, and my setup helps me take out the Purugly without much issue. I'm cruising along with Grottle, but when I reach Eterna Forest, I realize I have another problem. If Grottle gets to level 23, I can't use it for Gardenia, and there are a lot of trainers between me and Gardenia. The rest of my party is horrendously underleveled, so I can't use them. I need another encounter, and in Eterna Forest, my prayers are answered. I catch a level 12 Hootie, which quickly becomes the hero who saves the run. Hoot is not a good Pokemon, but its typing is exactly what I need. I immediately teach it Pluck with a TM and start using it just in time. Grottle reaches level 22 in the forest, so I need to make my way against Gardenia using it as little as I possibly can. Hootie is a bit underleveled, but matches up really well against the forest and gym trainers. I consider grinding Hootie on wild Pokemon to help it catch up, but decide not to. Once I get to Eterna City, I go out and catch a level 15 Machop, then have a choice. Hootie is level 12, and the gym trainers go up to level 19. If Hare gains any experience and gets to level 23, the run will be severely crippled. Do I need to backtrack and grind? After thinking the question over, I come to one answer. The hare would not grind, and neither will I. I press forward, relying on my type advantage to clear the hurdle. After dodging a couple of potentially devastating crits, I manage to reach Gardenia unscathed. With a bit of curse setup, hare easily destroys her team. I misplay and leave myself vulnerable to a critical hit Grass Knot from Roserade, but it doesn't happen and I move on. Surprisingly, I wasn't the only one who ran into this problem in Eterna Forest. I'll let Cake of Discord explain exactly what happened to him here.
I begin my run with grit and determination as Barry rushes into my room and drags me along to Professor Rowan. Before we get ourselves killed in the tall grass, the professor appears behind us and offers us the starters. I pick Chimchar and proceed to scratch Piplup into oblivion. Afterwards, I go home to proclaim my victory, then rush to the next town. As I arrive in the third town, picking up potions along the way, never using the Pokemon Center at all, I am living life on the edge. But a single crit tackle from a Bidoof in the trainer school brings me down to red health. But my starter manages to survive, and I'm able to make it to Rourke in a mere 30 minutes. His Cranidos is terrifying and can easily kill Monferno with a crit. But I have a plan. When it comes out, I will switch into an Onix I captured back in the Oreburg mines, then use Screech. Once Cranidos' defenses are lowered enough, I'll use Monferno to take it out with a single Mach Punch. Rourke is down and I am in the lead by a wide margin. Unfortunately, I soon come across my first problem of the run. While making my way to Eterna Forest, I realize Monferno is close to the level cap, so I need another Pokemon to take on the mandatory trainers to reach Gardenia. I spend the next 2 hours training a Zubat while spamming Leech Life, praying Cheryl's Chansey uses Egg Bomb to knock out wild Pokemon and get me much needed experience. Between Chansey only having a 1/3 chance to select an attacking move, that said attacking move being 75% accurate, and my best attacking move being Leech Life, this takes forever. Several times, wild Bunearys of all things nearly kill my entire run. At long last, I get out of the forest and sweep Gardenia with ease. But at this point, I am merely a husk of my former self.
After Gardenia, my level cap troubles still aren't over. The level cap is only increased to 26. My plan was to start grinding up OP the Magikarp at this time with the experience share, but since I've been skipping trainers, I've only seen 31 Pokemon and I can't get it. My immediate problem is Jupiter though, and she's a tough trainer. I set up 2 curses on the Zubat before killing it, then heal up on Skuntank. The first Night Sash does little damage, but the second crits, dealing so much and threatening to kill. Then, Hare is poisoned, so I sacrifice my Geodude and Machop in order to heal Hare. When I switch Hare back in, I realize I made a huge mistake. With no more defense boosts, Night Slash can 2-shot with only 1 crit. Thankfully, this doesn't happen, and with enough Rock Smashes, I'm able to take it out and win the battle. Even though teaching Hare Rock Smash was a complete accident, it may have actually saved me here. Actually, it's been a surprisingly useful move for Hare in the early game. And while I think something like Return would have been better, I got far more mileage out of it than I thought I would. Unfortunately, the victory was not a bloodless one. Machop may not have been good, but it was my second strongest Pokemon, and Hare is only 2 levels away from the level cap. The good news though is that I'm finally able to get the experience share and I start using it to train up Magikarp. This also reduces the amount of experience Hare gains, which is very good in helping me stay under the cap. By the time I reach Heathome Gym, Hare is level 25 and I go back to Hootie. The Owl's normal typing allows him to be immune to Ghost-type moves, and most of the opposing Ghastly kill themselves with Curse. Hare helps against the Pokemon that Hootie can't beat, and I make it to the gym leader. My plan here was to have a level 20 Gyarados to beat her Mismagius, but because I got the experience share later than I expected to, Magikarp is only level 17. I stopped for the day, considering my options. Last time I fought Fantina, I had 3 level 26s and I lost. Is it even possible with my current team? Do I need to go back and grind until I have a Gyarados? Where can I even grind with a level 16 Hoot and a Grotle that I can't KO things with? I refuse to grind. The hare wouldn't grind, and neither will I. I decide that I either beat Fantina here or die trying, so I devise a plan. Last time, Miss Magius' Citrus Berry was the reason Bite didn't two-shot. This time, however, I can adjust. My first bite flinches Duskull, and the second KOs while I'm at full health. Next up, Fantina sends in her Miss Magius, so I switch to Hooty. I panic as she hits me with a Confuse Ray and I hit myself, but the next turn, my plan works. Hooty survives a Psybeam with its good special defense, then plucks the berry. With that, Bite is now a two-shot. As a thank you to everything Hooty has done for me, I switch him out to sacrifice my Psyduck, then send in Hare again. Miss Magius confuses Hare and I hit myself in confusion. To avoid losing the battle, I sacrifice Shellos, then try again. This time she hits a Shadow Ball, doesn't crit, and I land a Bite, dealing half to the Miss Magius. I switch out to Bidoof on a Shadow Ball to heal up Hare, then try one more time. Miss Magius uses another Shadow Ball and I hold my breath, but it doesn't crit. Hare survives, kills the Miss Magius, then easily finishes off the Haunter. After the 4-hour penalty, I've beaten Fantina in 7 hours. This puts me all the way down to 6th place and I'm over 4 hours behind Llama. This run, though, is fast. Without the penalty, I'd only be 2 minutes away from the lead. While several trainers struggled with the Ghost-type gym leader, Llamaland got an incredible Fantina split of 235, with an utterly brilliant and risk-free strategy in the fight itself. I feel bad about this because the tools to win were right in front of me. I just didn't see them. After defeating Gardenia, there is an optional area to the north of Eterna Forest called the Old Chateau. I didn't even think of heading to this area, but heading there gives the TM for Substitute. Substitute is a complete game changer in this fight because the AI has no idea how to play around it. By using Substitute, Llama sets up for free as Duskull uses useless Will-O-Wisps against Turtwig. Then, Miss Magius only uses an ineffective Confuse Ray before going down. Afterwards, Llama takes out Haunter and the fight is over. Once you see this strategy in action, it feels obvious, but of all the racers, Llama was the only one to cheese Fantina this way. This strategy allowed Llama to have a massive lead on everyone else after Fantina, and this would not be the last trainer he'd cheese using Substitute on this run. After defeating Fantina, I realized there's a level 20 gift Eevee that I could have gotten in Heathrome City before that fight. Man, that would have made things so much easier. If you've been screaming at your monitor wondering why I never picked that up, well, yeah, I just didn't know it existed. With Kurt Strats, I beat Barry, and my ultimate Pokemon is born. Gyarados is insane in Nuzlocke runs, and is particularly overpowered in this game. Between its insane mid-game stats, access to Dragon Dance, and now healing items to let it set up that much easier, this will be my carry for most of the run. Gyarados and Torterra also support each other extremely well, as Torterra can handle the rock and electric moves that scare Gyarados. I teach OP Secret Power, then let it tear through the game. I also give it a Shell Bell, which allows Gyarados to passively restore health when it does damage. OP destroys all the gym trainers, while Hare takes out Maylene by himself. 4 gym badges in 8 hours 11 minutes. I'm up to 5th now! While Maylene was easy for me, she gave a few other players trouble, most notably IMJT. When I asked them for commentary, this is what they told me. I came into Maylene feeling confident, with an excellent team that had swept through the previous 3 gyms. I led with Gardevoir, easily taking out her Meditite and Machoke, so I assumed it would be able to take out Lucario just as easily. Maylene, though, had other plans. Lucario outsped my Gardevoir and used Metal Claw, getting both an attack boost and a critical hit, vaporizing my beloved partner. I send out Gabite to get revenge on the Lucario with an Earthquake, but I misclick and use Dragon Claw. This mistake allows Lucario to get off a critical hit Drain Punch, killing Gabite. At this point, I feel dead inside. I'm angry with the game for the cheap crits, and I'm angry with myself for the misclick. I thought this fight would be easy, and just like that, I'm down 2 of my best Pokemon. Monferno cleans up Maylene with a Mach Punch, and I burn down the gym in a fit of rage, but the damage had already been done. After this point, I could never again get a well-rounded team, and while I did eventually beat the Nuzlocke, my time seriously suffered as a result. Back to my run, I speed my way to Crasher Wake, crushing Barry with Gyarados. I'm doing fine until I run into my worst enemy, another Gyarados. Fisherman Eric's Gyarados deals so much damage with Thrash, but thankfully I heal overcautiously, playing around a critical hit that would have otherwise killed me. Crasher Wake, on the other hand, is easy. OP takes out his Gyarados and Care takes out his Quagsire. His Floatzel is a bit tougher and I have to sacrifice Porygon when Crunch drops my defense, but I survive and win the battle. I march onwards. Cyrus gives me a bit of a scare, but I survive, and OP sweeps the rest of the battle. I get the Canalave, which allows me to delete Rock Smash from Hare's moveset. Gyarados destroys Barry, I ignore Iron Island completely after getting Strength, and go straight to Byron. Hare beats his Magneton Bastiodon, OP beats his Steelix, and I've gotten my 6th badge. I was a little scared of Bastiodon's Metal Burst, so I started with a Razor Leaf instead of Earthquake and crit, but thankfully the Bastiodon just used Taunt that turn, and I'm able to kill it the following turn. My next big struggle comes against Commander Saturn. OP should destroy his team, so I'm not worried and come in unprepared. OP takes out Golbat, but takes a Toxic in the process, and when his Bronzor comes out, I realize that I don't have an antidote. I switch out and heal, taking a bit of damage in the process, and when I've taken out the Bronzor, Hare is at half health. Toxicroak hits Hare with a Poison Jab as I heal it up. Then I decide to go for a risky Earthquake. I move first and hit, but don't knock it out, before Toxicroak fires back with a Revenge. It deals so much damage, but Hare barely survives at 6 health. I heal up, realizing that I only outsped because Revenge is a negative priority move, and then get hit with a Mud Bomb. The next turn, I take another Poison Jab and KO it with Earthquake. Man, that was scary, and it shouldn't have been scary. I make sure to stock up on full heals after that and easily am able to beat Mars. I then mow my way through the routes on the way to Snowpoint City, crush all the trainers in the gym, then take a bit of a detour to grab a few rare candies. Once OP reaches level 44, she learns Dragon Dance, which makes her absurdly busted. Candace's Abomasnow actually survives a +6 secret power on 1 HP, then fires back with an Avalanche. I hold my breath, but thankfully the Avalanche doesn't crit and OP is able to sweep from there. 7 badges in 11 hours, 11 minutes. I'm in 4th place now and I'm seriously gaining on the top players. If they screw up, victory is still within sight. Having a Dragon Dancing Gyarados trivializes every fight from here to the Distortion world. Waiting in Giratina's maze, however, is the toughest trainer in the entire game. I've never beaten a Platinum Nuzlocke before, and it's all because of this fight. I've lost here twice. The first problem is his lead. His Houndoom knows Thunderfang, which can one-shot Gyarados with a critical hit. Flamethrower would do the same to Torterra. For the first time this run, I'm going to need to rely on a 3rd Pokemon to beat him. After considering my options, I see one path that has a hope of working. It's a risky play, but in order to be the Hare, I must take risks. I caught a level 24 Houndour a while back, which is just 1 level away from evolution. I train Doom 1 level to evolve it, then lead it against Cyrus. His Houndoom almost kills me with a Thunderfang, but Doom survives and then roars out his Houndoom. Doom dies the next turn, but he did his job. Cyrus's Honchkrow is not as scary as his Houndoom, and now it's time for OP to start setting up. Setting up on the Honchkrow is by no means a surefire strategy. If it gets a critical hit after dealing damage once, OP will still die. Aqua Tail and Ice Fang also aren't 100% accurate, and if OP ever misses, it could cost me the battle. After 2 Dragon Dances, I decide to go for the sweep. Honchkrow goes down, then Houndoom. Gyarados comes out to intimidate me, but OP gets off 1 more Dragon Dance before KOing it with 2 secret powers. OP misses an Aqua Tail against the Weavile, but it doesn't crit, allowing me to heal and knock it out a couple turns later. Ice Fang then takes out Crobat, and just like that, the battle is over. Thank you, Doom, for sacrificing yourself to create this chance for victory. Unfortunately, not everyone running in the race made it past this fight. I'll let IBR take over here as they explain.
The run started normally, picked a little turtle, and went on to catch the first encounters. I got a Shinx with Rivalry, typical, but it died to Barry immediately anyway. The thing kept going on with the typical encounters, like a Rotom in the old chateau, death, like the Rotom I had just caught, stupid RNG, me being stupid. I took a comfortable spot in the middle of the leaderboard. At this point, with 5 badges, I fought Cyrus for the first time and swept him because Team Galactic is stupid, including the leader. My team is starting to look really good at this point, with Torterra, Gastrodon, Glaceon, Staraptor, Raichu, and Gallade, my favorite Pokemon. I got badges 6 and 7 pretty easily with this stacked team, then went to beat up terrorists because that's what you do in Pokemon games. So I went to their HQ in Veilstone. I fought Cyrus again, who killed my Raichu. I guess I can have electric types. So I grab a Magnemite and start getting real worried. This is a race. I don't have time to entertain myself with random crap, like keeping my mons alive. That's multitasking, I'm not good at that. I go up Mount Coronet to beat up Cyrus, because man doesn't learn from his mistakes. My plan was to poison stall their strongest mons, like Gyarados, Honchkrow, or his entire team, with Gastrodon. So I go in, flinch twice before setting up the poison, and then notice that I don't have any heals. The stall isn't going to work. I take out the Gyarados with Gastrodon, hound him with Torterra. Don't ask me how I did it, I don't even know. But when Honchkrow came out, oh dear, that beast of a mafia bird just took out my entire team with stab and coverage moves. That's how to lose a race 101. Just don't get to the end.
Volkner is the last gym leader, and while Hare nominally counters his team, there are a few problems I have to solve. His Raichu, Luxray, and Electivire all have super effective coverage, and Hare isn't a fast Pokemon. OP, meanwhile, is actually useless for the first time this game. Thankfully, Volkner has one weakness which I'm able to exploit, which is his starting Jolteon. The only move I can hit Hare with is Iron Tail, and when I'm looking at Hare's moveset, I realize I can take advantage of this. With both Rock Polish and Curse, Hare is able to become a speedy turtle, zooming past Volkner's team and KOing everything with Earthquake before he can respond. 8 gym badges in 13 hours, 18 minutes. After beating Volkner, I zoom towards the league, avoiding all the trainers I can on the way. After upgrading OP's moveset with Return over Secret Power, I crush Berry and use up all my rare candies to get OP to the level cap. Then, I go in. Not many of our racers had trouble with Aaron or Bertha, but one racer took particular pleasure in beating Flint. When Crescent first played Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, they almost quit the game because of Flint's Drifloon. This run, Crescent got the chance for some payback with a Drifloon of their own. With some quick setup and a baton pass to ride on, they were easily able to sweep Flint for the win. Aaron, Bertha, and Flint all go down to an OP sweep, but Lucian is a bit more challenging. His Mr. Mime has Thunderbolt, which means I need to lead with Hare instead, who is only level 53. 2 Earthquakes takes out the Mr. Mime, who gets up a Reflect before he faints. Next up, Lucian sends out Espeon, and my goal is to set up OP here. I set up 1 Dragon Dance, and Psychic does a bit over a third, which puts me in crit range. After thinking about it, I decide to go for a Waterfall, forgetting completely about the Reflect. I get lucky and one-shot the Espeon with a crit, then Lucian sends out Gallade. I'm afraid of Stone Edge, so I switch out. I sacrifice my Rhyhorn in order to heal up Hare, then start setting up. After setting up 2 curses, I'm able to take a regular hit and a critical hit without fainting, so I alternate between setting up and healing as I need to. Gallade gets me to the red a lot, but it can't kill me as long as I heal with 135 or less health. I set up to +6 attack, defense, and speed, then sweep the rest of his team. That was close. Lucian nearly killed my run, and I wasn't the only one who ran into a ridiculously scary fight here. When I asked other players about their most interesting moments in the run, both Steve from Smash Bros. And GameStream talked about the Lucian fight. I'll give Steve perspective first. Ever since I've gotten into Nuzlocking, I've done hardcore Nuzlocks, so I decided to challenge myself and play this race with hardcore rules. Due to this, I was super scared and nervous about having to start over, so I spent a lot of time grinding with the Versus Seeker at the mansion. When I made it to the Elite Four and was grinding in Victory Road, I lost one of my team members and had to replace them with Steelix. Then I lost Steelix and decided to replace it with Jolteon. This unwanted Jolteon ended up saving my run against Lucian. I led Mamoswine to KO as Mr. Mime, but then Bronzong came out, so I switched to Rapidash. My Fire Horse managed to 2-hit KO the Bronzong with Fire Blast, but in the process got hit hard by an Earthquake, barely surviving on low health. Lucian sent out his Alakazam next, and at that moment, I knew I needed to make a sacrifice. Rapidash sacrificed himself for the team so I could safely bring in Tentacruel, who I was hoping would live a hit and 1-hit KO with Poison Jab. Tentacruel tanks the Psychic hit with super low health, but fails to get the KO. Weighing my options, I realized that I need to keep Tentacruel alive to beat the champion, so I decided to switch out to Jolteon. My Electric Doggo barely survives a Psychic on 2 HP, but then it outspeeds Alakazam, sending Lucian's scariest Pokemon to the grave. I'm not out of it yet. Espeon comes in next and uses Quick Attack while I switch to Mamoswine. Mamo outspeeds the Espeon and KOs with Earthquake, so only Lucian's Gallade is left. At this point, I'm terrified. I don't have any good switch-ins, and Drain Punch will probably kill Mamoswine if I stay in. In the end, I decide to risk it, and I land a critical hit Earthquake, killing his ace. Thankfully, I came out of that fight with only 1 loss, but it could have been so much worse. My team came in clutch when I needed them most, and we were able to ride this momentum to beat Cynthia and conquer the Pokemon League. GameStorm's fight against Lucian might even be more ridiculous than either of ours. I'll let him explain now.
I'm gonna take the light clay from you, give that to Stuart, and I'm gonna double check to make sure Stuart has light screen. I am fairly certain that I did give it light screen, but after what just happened, I can't make that risk. Okay, yes, light screen, good. And let that wear out a little bit. Espion's up next. Okay, Stuart, buddy, I need you to live one hit. That is all I ask. I need you to take one signal beam from this thing. That is all I ask of you. Come on, buddy, come on. Oh no, 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 no! Because now we don't have light screen to protect us. I think I have to just Dragon Dance at least twice. I know from oh my fucking god. It got 2 crits in a row? I think I have to go for the attack. I don't think I can wait. Please KO it. Please KO it. Okay. Well, we have a few problems. Next is that Gallade. Shit. Oh, this is really bad. This is really, really bad because this thing has Stone Edge and I don't think we can one-shot it. I think I have to go. I think I have to put out a martyr. Sketcher, you've done your country a great service. Now go die for your president. That's fine. Okay. Continue. Get it out of here. Yep. Goodbye, Sketcher. No, I don't think I can do that. I think I have to go a Husker Intimidator first. Fuck. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I got an idea. Go Squidward. Go Squidward. Why would he go for that? No way, Squidward lives. Oh, Squidward lives. Yeah, oh my god. This is not good as bad, is it? Okay, Husker. Oh my god, this has gone from good to terrible. We've lost half our team. Fucking hell. Come on, Husker. Oh god, I don't think we can live one. If it crits, we die. So I think we just have to do or die Dragon Dance. Okay, we'll max potion now, but I still don't think we're gonna live if it crits. But we won't live if it hits either. So I think it's almost out of them. It's gotta be, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be out. No fucking way. Oh. This game, I went the entire rest of the Elite Four without a fucking crit, and now all of a sudden... What the fuck? Oh god, that was not crit. Was that crit? I couldn't see it. I couldn't see what it was. I can't get that rest. That's not right. Okay. This is bullshit. Crit. That happened right. No fucking mate. Another one? There's fucking mate. Bro, what the fuck? Why is this wrong? Oh my god, why is there so many crits? No, this is wrong. What the shit? This is over there, I guess. I realize this is okay, that's a little more obvious. Fuck it, I'm just earthquaking. Or would Waterfall... I think Waterfall would do more because stab. So I don't have the Earth Plate. Thank fucking god. Jesus. That fucking Gallade, man. Game over, bro. We're down half a team going into Cynthia. Oh my god. Okay, fuck that. Fuck that. We're good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. And our special defense is down. Why? Fucking why? Why? Why do you feel the need to do that? You shouldn't need to do that. Because we still have an Alakazam to deal with. I'm not sure we outspeed that. Because Alakazam's fast as hell. Oh, this is bad. This is really, really bad. Oh god. Oh, thank fucking god. We have a chance at least now. We at least still have a chance. Oh, my starter's dead. 21-29.
Only one trainer remains between me and my completed run, and everyone watching this video knows who it is. Cynthia is a tough battle, a trainer who has a balanced team with great movesets throughout. She's generally considered the toughest trainer in Pokemon, and LeBon Pigeon needs to use some creative strategies to pull through. I blitzed through the Elite Four and decided I wanted to beat Cynthia in style. Her first Pokemon weren't too bad. I Toxic Stalled out her Spiritomb with Gastrodon and beat her Roserade with Frostlass. Then, her Lucario came out. I wasn't paying attention, so I sent out Jolteon, which almost led to disaster. Jolteon barely tanks a Stone Edge in extreme speed from Lucario, while getting it low with Thunderbolt. She heals, which would have put Jolteon in a precarious situation, but I get saved by a lucky critical hit. Next up, she sends out her ace, and I need to sacrifice Gardevoir to heal up Gastrodon. My Slug Toxic Stalls out her Garchomp and Milotic, and then I send out Gyarados against her Togekiss. Her Togekiss uses Shockwave, threatening to knock Gyarados out of the sky, but my Wakan Berry activates, letting Gyarados live and allowing me to secure the victory. This Wakan Berry was the only berry I picked up the entire game, and it was from a random weasel I caught, so I love the fact that I was able to use it to help me win the final battle. My strategy for this fight is to once again cheese it with OP. This strategy should work, but things can still go very easily wrong here. I set up Dragon Dance against the Spiritomb, which is doing about 30% with its attacking moves. This is enough to survive a regular hit and a critical hit so long as I don't get a special defense drop, which of course happens almost immediately. In response, I sacrifice Sneasel to heal up and try again. This time, the Spiritomb doesn't get a drop and I set up 6 Dragon Dances. Then, the sweep begins. OP one-shots every member of Cynthia's team and I've finished the race in 14 hours and 44 minutes. So, after the dust settled, how did I do? Sadly, my loss against Fantina prevented me from coming in first. Llamaland used Terterra, Tentacruel, and Steelix to cap off an incredible run with a time of 10 hours and 43 minutes, while Cake of Discord used Infernape, Gyarados, and Gliscor to finish off his run in 12 hours and 2 minutes. However, my reckless hare strategies allowed me to gain a victory of sorts, as I had the fastest individual runtime out of any of the participants. Without counting the resets, my run only took 10 hours and 29 minutes. My run was by no means perfect, and I had no right winning as fast as I did. I was reckless and took so many avoidable risks. I went into this second run with full knowledge that I'd probably die, expecting to become a cautionary tale to others. However, when luck aligns perfectly, even the craziest risks can pay off. In this run, they did. The only 3 Pokemon I cared about this run, OP, Hare, and Hootie, all survived, and I stand here today as the Pokemon League champion. In this video, I tried to share with you stories from all the Nuzlockers of our race, but there was one Nuzlocke, one run, that I was conspicuously avoiding. There was one person whose run was so interesting, so unlucky, and so tense, that I couldn't justify including his run as a footnote. To do justice to this run, I'm going to need to make an entire video on it instead. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time for the epic saga of Midnight Wolf Racing.